Brothers and sisters, imagine for a moment finding yourself before a scene that we all fear, yet know is inevitable. Imagine the heavy silence of a hospital room where machines emit intermittent sounds, and then total silence. Or think about the echo of the words, "He's gone," "He is no longer here," or simply, "He has passed away." These moments strike us like violent waves, threatening to overwhelm us, leaving us breathless, speechless, and sometimes even hopeless. But today, my friends, I want to ask you something. When we face the death of someone we love, are we reacting in the right way? Are we honoring the deceased with our grief, or are we risking losing ourselves in an abyss of sadness that leads nowhere? The good news is that we are not alone on this journey. Throughout the history of the Church, great saints and mystics have faced the same trials and tribulations. They have spoken with God, listened to the souls in purgatory, and received divine revelations that can still guide us today. Together, we will explore what they teach us about the proper way to grieve and discover how to transform our sorrow into a source of spiritual strength. If you stay until the end, I promise that you will not only find comfort but also gain practical tools to face one of the most difficult moments of the Christian life. Are you ready? Then let's begin. First and foremost, we must understand what death truly is from a Christian perspective. For many, death appears as an impenetrable wall, a final point marking the end of everything. But for us Christians, death has never been an ending. It is a passage, a transition into a new life. St. John Chrysostom, one of the fathers of the Church, tells us,
"Do not weep as if everything is over, but pray as if it is just the beginning of a new life."
These words are profound and revealing. They invite us to change our perspective. When a loved one dies, we are not losing that soul forever. We are witnessing their journey to an even greater destination, the eternal presence of God. But why then do we feel pain? Why do we feel that emptiness inside? The answer is simple. Pain is human. Even Jesus wept at the tomb of Lazarus, showing us that grief is natural and legitimate. However, as Christians, we must elevate our sorrow to a spiritual level, transforming it into prayer and thanksgiving. Now, let us seek to understand what the saints and mystics tell us about how we should act after the death of a loved one. One of the most important teachings comes from Saint Gregory the Great, who reminds us of the importance of praying for the souls of the departed. He wrote,
"The souls in purgatory need our prayers to find peace."
So, my friends, do not just cry. Get on your knees and pray. Recite the rosary, offer masses, and entrust your loved one's soul to the loving hands of God. Every prayer you say can have an enormous impact on their spiritual journey. Saint Teresa of Avila, the great Spanish mystic, invites us to accept God's will even in the most painful moments. She says,
"Accepting God's will is the greatest sign of love."
When we lose someone, we may feel shaken, angry, or even abandoned. But Saint Teresa reminds us that God has a perfect plan, even if we cannot see it clearly. Faith requires us to trust that plan, even when it seems dark. Padre Pio of Pietrelcina, known for his visions and suffering, once said,
"Do not weep for those who have gone to meet God. They are happy, while we remain here to fight."
This is a balm for the heart. If we truly love the person we have lost, we must desire eternal happiness for them. Excessive or desperate mourning serves no purpose. In fact, it can be counterproductive. We must transform our grief into spiritual joy, knowing that those who have died are now in a better state. Now, we enter an even deeper territory. Some mystics have had direct visions of the souls in purgatory, and these souls have left us important messages about what the living should and should not do. One of the most common requests from the souls in purgatory is that the living continue to pray for them. Saint Maria Goretti, the martyr of purity, had visions of souls pleading for prayers from their relatives still on earth. So, do not underestimate the power of your prayers. Even a simple "Lord, have mercy" can make a difference. Another important lesson is to avoid resentment toward those who have passed away. Sometimes we may feel betrayed or abandoned, especially if death is sudden or premature. But the souls in purgatory warn us, do not hold grudges against us. We are already on the path to salvation, and you still have time to save yourselves. Finally, the souls urge us to live a life full of faith and love. Pray for us, they say, but most importantly, live well. Perform works of mercy, love others, and prepare yourselves for the day you will meet God. Now that we have heard the advice of the saints and the words of the souls in purgatory, here are some concrete practices to transform pain into spiritual strength. Dedicate at least a decade of the rosary each day for the repose of your loved one's soul. Offer masses for the deceased. This act of faith is particularly powerful. Study works such as The Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis to gain a deeper understanding of the meaning of death. Honor the memory of your loved one by performing acts of charity. Taking care of others is a beautiful way to perpetuate their love. I want to share a brief personal story with you. A year ago, I lost someone dear to me. It was a devastating blow. I remember spending entire days crying, unable to think of anything positive. Then, one day, I read a quote from Mother Teresa of Calcutta. "Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional." These words made me reflect. I decided to transform my pain into action. I began to pray more, to recite the rosary, and to perform acts of charity in memory of my beloved departed. Today, I can say that this loss has made me spiritually stronger. Perhaps we should start seeing death not as an enemy, and instead of focusing on pain, we should focus on hope. This change in perspective can work miracles in our lives. Brothers and sisters, today we have explored together the wisdom of the saints and mystics of the Church, learning how to face death with dignity and hope. We have discovered that prayer, acceptance of divine will, and love for others are the most powerful tools for overcoming grief. But now, it is up to you. I invite you to subscribe to our channel to receive more spiritual reflections like this. Share this video with anyone who might benefit from it, and leave a comment below with a quote or a thought that has inspired you. Remember, we are not alone on this journey. We have the guidance of the saints, the protection of the Virgin Mary, and above all, the infinite love of God. Let us move forward with courage and trust. May God bless us all.